Race to win, everyone! It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce. And guys, we got more Sonic X today. And, well, there's some stuff here sometimes, I don't know.
There are a few funny moments.
There's some funny moments, but
I think it's probably better than last week, other than not having the Knuckles episode.
oh yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I'd already forgotten last week. So
I'm just saying that, like, these three episodes as a whole, the Knuckles episode does not outweigh
no,
the
it doesn't.
Savannah episode and the other thing. But
Probably.
we're starting off here with episode 19, The Ghost of the Old Castle, King Boom Boo, or... Actually, I didn't check what the name is in the dub. What is it, Lauren?
Sonic's Scream Test.
Sonic's Scream Test. That's actually pretty good, because...
It's not a bad title, yeah.
Because while filming one of Lindsay Thorndyke's movies at an old castle, Chris and the others are attacked by mysterious ghosts. What could be the key to exorcising them?
I didn't realize that the original title revealed that King Boom Boo was in it. And
Yeah,
here I
that's
was feeling
interesting.
clever for seeing the foreshadowing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the theme, is that the Japanese titles are always much more obvious in every way.
Right.
But yes, we've got Sonic Adventure 2 ghosts in this one.
Surprised that they didn't wait.
I think it actually makes sense, because the ghosts in Adventure 2 are a complete non sequitur.
Yeah, I mean, King Boom Boo comes out of nowhere and then leaves without a trace. No relevance to anything. So it fits right in this show, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think that then it... Yeah, okay, you're being funny. I do think that it makes sense to separate it out, though. Because, we'll see when we get to the adventure adaptations. I think that in a lot of ways they're more focused than the games. I think you'll especially be satisfied with how they use Knuckles in Adventure 2. That makes more sense.
Okay.
But yeah, so like with the last episode, we're just starting at the location already. But this time, it makes sense to not have to, like, see the travel time because it's just a movie set. I mean, it's not a movie set. They're using the castle as a movie set.
Right.
And hey, we get to see Chris's mom actually doing her job, which is...
So, I would like to question, if she wants to spend more time with Chris, why doesn't she have him do this more often? Like, come to a set.
I mean, I assume a lot of the time it would be a little difficult to arrange.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, but, like, clearly it's not that hard to arrange that they can't do it.
I mean, maybe it was an idea they had just now.
I mean, that's entirely possible.
Well, and I mean, Chris, kids on a movie set could be a distraction. I don't think that's necessarily unreasonable.
Not really. I just feel like, the last time we saw Lindsay, she was frustrated that she couldn't spend more time with her kid, and now we see a way that she could.
I just assumed that she was, like, trying to make more of an effort, and this was like, oh, maybe I can make a compromise.
Well, if that's the case, then that's not a bad effort.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But so this set, quote unquote, it's a castle. It's a location.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain what the deal is with this place, though? Because there are like beds and stuff in some of the rooms, as we'll see later. Does somebody own this place and they're just renting it out?
I assume it's like the castles in Europe.
Yeah, but like
someone owns them.
I mean, I guess it's just like, some rich person owns it and they're just not using it for anything. So they're like, yeah, you can shoot movies here if you give me money.
That actually is an interesting question I've never thought of. Like, you see like a castle in Germany. Who owns that?
I mean, it may be publicly owned as well.
It could just be like...
whoever it is must not hire a groundskeeper.
Clearly.
Well, see, that's why I was wondering, because like there are some things here that seem like it's not completely abandoned, but I don't know how much it actually is used. And so there's going to be a curse, as we'll see later, because booze, as we've seen.
Yeah.
How the heck did that never manifest before?
Well, so one of the things that we see near the start of the episode is this cameraman is a bumbling fool who keeps smacking this stone hourglass with his camera.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"That's funny."
Because, like, okay, the stone hourglass has to do with the curse. I want to talk about how this guy thinks, oh, I keep smacking the hourglass with the camera, and he's like, oh, I'll just put the camera behind it. That won't cause any problem.
Why did he think that would work?
Oh no, now it's in the way. What a shock.
Oh.
The thing that's funny about this guy is he's like, okay, I should move the stone thing. Actually, no, let me move the camera. And then the intro happens, and then he's like, actually, no, let me move the stone thing after all. Can't make up his mind.
It's very, very odd. Sonic is out exploring the castle, but when he moves the stone thing, that causes some like spatial distortion.
Something like that, yeah.
Which I think did the cameras end up picking that up at the night later that night as well? I think
They hear the ghosts later.
Yeah.
Is it normal when you're filming on location to sleep at the location? It's very weird.
I don't think so.
Because, like, the entire cast and crew is doing that.
Yeah.
This is why
Normally,
like, it must
just
be
go to
lived in or something.
I would
I mean,
assume
or
so.
renting.
Maybe
thing
it's
that
actually
makes
maybe it's actually like a hotel or something.
It's an Airbnb.
That is a thing in parts of Europe. You can get castle Airbnbs.
Does it have heating? It has lighting. Or is it electric lighting, or do they just light fucking torches?
You know.
Anywho, yeah. So Sonic actually does find the hourglass thing on the ground, but it's well, the ghostly presence is already here. In that Lindsay goes missing, and people start investigating around. Tails and Chris catch Amy just as Ella, Cream, and Cheese get pulled through a wall.
So in other shows, these ghosts may actually be built up as like angry spirits that want something.
Yeah.
But in this, it's extremely unclear what they're trying to do.
Yeah, we have no
they seem to
idea
just
what's
be
going
messing
on.
around.
Yeah, they don't really seem malevolent. They just kind of seem bored.
Yeah, I mean a lot of ghosts in
Yeah.
fiction exist without self-justification, but it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you can just like assume that a ghost is a dead person. Like
Well, yeah.
Boo's in Mario, I think is cute because they're actually literally all of the enemies you've been killing in the other games.
In the context of a game, I don't really expect an explanation because I don't expect an explanation behind a lot of enemies that you fight
Sure.
in games. But in an anime, usually there's at least a line or something like, oh, back when, there's a person who died or something. Like, usually there's a line or something trying to explain why there might be uneasy
Right.
spirits, but we don't get anything like that here.
All we really get is the pink dimension. Because Sonic busts through the wall into the pink dimension.
Ooh.
And he and Tails get taken in there, and then the wall reseals itself. He just barely manages to toss the hourglass to Chris before that. And yeah, speaking of spoiling things, I guess that's a running theme of the Japanese version in general, because the commercial eye catches have King Boom Boo's card before the show actually reveals his character.
See, and here I was like seeing Chris go over to the place where the hourglass was and reading the plaque, and it's like, oh, appears under the moon, disappears under the sun, and I'm like, wait a minute, that reminds me of a Sonic Adventure 2 boss battle. And I felt all clever, but no, it was actually just laid out for you, apparently.
I mean, for us at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've talked about it and are going to continue talking about the ways that some of 4Kids edits subjectively can make things better, so if you want to build this up as a mystery, it's better that way, I suppose. Especially if you're smarter than the characters in the show, because somehow appears under the moon, disappears under the sun does not signal to either of these people that the hourglass with a moon on one side and a sun on the other would have some effect depending on its orientation.
Yep.
Instead, we're just like, there's a secret tunnel under this pedestal, so let's go there. But I want to talk about the amazing continuity zinger moment where Amy's like, "Yeah, I should move into an apartment in Station Square."
Oh my gosh.
The most important continuity that we needed to introduce.
Anyway, they're attacked by Boos, which it's funny that Sonic and Mario both have Boo ghosts. They're real scared of the hourglass when they hold it out. They get to see the pink dimension, and it has King Boom Boo there.
Right. Oh gosh! Wow, King Boom Boo! What a twist!
Yeah, I never would have expected that.
You know, some things actually are unexpected. Namely, this whole sequence where he talks through Sonic's voice
That was weird.
and like flirts with Amy to get her to put the moon
Uh,
side up hourglass.
See, any other continuity, I would be like, ah, classic Amy being stupid and delusional, thinking,
This-
oh, of course, Sonic has finally realized.
I feel like
But
this
in this
Amy, that doesn't really
continuity,
line up.
I'm like, wait a second. Okay, you obviously have to assume that it's not doing the voice, and that's just
Sure.
for the audience. But given that, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't extremely far-fetched.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic has been more conciliatory in this show than anything else up to this point, so it's at least something.
Yeah.
I can buy it. And yes, I am called forth into this mortal plane. The moon side up hourglass lets him out, and well, you know, this is a Knuckles boss, which means that Amy can't fight him.
Damn it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it now because you brought it up. Why the heck does Knuckles not show up to fight Boom Boo? Such a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, he really should have.
I mean, again, there's not much connection. I'm trying to think, you know, what could possibly connect anything in Adventure 2, and it's like the ghosts are in ruins in Adventure 2, and the ruins, I think, are Echidna ruins that Eggman has occupied. So does that mean that these are ghosts of Echidnas?
Sure.
It's possible.
Because that's actually the hilarious thing about all of the pyramid levels in Adventure 2, is that they're full of Echidna pharaoh statues and stuff that have had Eggman faces plastered over them.
Right.
I don't know if we talked
Right.
about that in the video, but
I think we did.
I'm sure we brought it up. I usually point out silly Eggman imagery whenever possible.
Right.
yeah. So I don't know if that means the ghosts in the show are also Echidnas, but in any case,
Well, that
yeah,
depends very much on the connection between Mobius and Earth in
Right.
this show.
yeah. I think the thing about not having Knuckles in this episode is that I can imagine exactly what they'd do if he was, which is the same thing that they're already doing with Amy, which is that you try to attack head on, but you can't do that, so somebody else has to outsmart them.
Sure.
I'm just saying, you have the Knuckles boss and you don't have Knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just realizing, the stone hourglass, it's probably a reference to the hourglass objects that you use to open things in SA2.
Oh,
100%, yeah.
I didn't even think of that until now. But yeah, so Amy can't fight him. Instead, she gets possessed and makes a terrifying face that we saw on Lindsay before, but like everybody remembers this episode because of this possessed Amy.
The possessed Amy became a meme.
It gets so much fan art.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I guess I should be
For better or worse, exactly what you think that means. Which is funny, because it's not even, like, that significant. Like, she tries to kill Chris once before he gets too close to the hourglass. And just stop.
Well, because it's on the wrong side, or the wrong side for them, anyway.
Well, he gets close to the hourglass, and then she stops, but, like... I thought you have to put it the other side up to do it. What? Just getting close to it?
Well, so this episode is bad, but let me just say that that I think the idea is that Amy corners Chris, and is like, in universe, there's not really that much hesitation, but they hesitate a while because show logic, just long enough for Chris to realize that he needs to flip it, which. By the way, that's incredibly obvious.
Yeah, now you remember the text. And it's weird, because you remember the text on the pedestal, so Sonic is freed, and karate chops the ghost out of Amy.
Right.
But, like, he hasn't moved the hourglass yet. So it's like, it just makes them corporeal, I guess? Because Amy just beats the shit out of them while Sonic fights the king, so...
Well, in the games, at least, when the sun is out, Boom Boo... like goes into the ground, but you can dig him out of the ground, and then he is corporeal. So it's a similar idea. I never understood how that worked, but I never really thought about it much, to be honest.
It's weird. I don't get it either, but this is the thing, is that, like, yeah, I'm thinking about, like, ghost hunting shows, how it's like, you could just make up fucking any rule you want and say that it's real.
Pretty much.
Okay, you know what? This is not very tangentially related, but thank you for bringing this up. I hate ghost plots in so many things, especially shows that use them multiple times, because people don't seem to understand, like, the whole point of, like, paranormal stuff. They're just like, oh, magic. It can do anything. We can make up whatever random nonsense. I always thought that the real intrigue with ghosts is kind of what I mentioned earlier, is if they were real people with actual histories, and you somehow tie the whole thing to, like, whatever tragedy has made their soul restless. But a lot of shows are just like, oh, there's a magic hourglass, flip it the right way, and you get rid of the ghosts, and it's just lame.
There's a lot of different takes you can do. You know, maybe these were bound there somewhere for some reason. You know, maybe these guys are being punished for what they did in life. I don't know. But when you don't have any sort of rationale behind it, it makes it definitely rather flaccid.
Yeah.
Case in point, Chris takes the hourglass, which does not make him invulnerable to the ghosts, even though it seemed to before. Whatever. Lindsay can't run in heels, so everybody trying to escape very slowly. Amy slams the door, and Chris is like, ah! And he puts down the hourglass, and there's a big flash of light. And then you see that the moon side was still up?
There's even a line about, like, oh, we messed up, but it doesn't matter, apparently.
Well, it's like,
You know,
somehow that gets rid of the ghosts temporarily. But then they're like, oh, it's the wrong side up, so what did that even do? And 3, I didn't say a 1 or 2, but those were 1 and 2. Can you not just flip it over now?
Yeah, there's no real reason they can't. The only reason I can think of maybe is that they're worried it might unseal them or something.
It's not very, it doesn't take very much time though. These ghosts are not like Sonic speed.
No.
And then this cop shows up and is like, yeah, I know about the ghost. My grandfather did something here once. What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is another case of a convenient background character.
What the fuck are you talking about? Who are you?
Knows the plot.
It's the same as the clerk guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one is even more incomprehensible because...
It is, because he just shows up.
The other ones, at least, are there, like, introduced somewhat early on, and they're like, oh, and they lay the groundwork. Like,
yeah, that guy told them about the shipwreck. This guy doesn't have anything to do with this.
That's true. He just shows up.
If this guy had been there earlier, I would have less complaints about the ghost just being there for no reason and them not making any sense. But it's almost like the writers forgot and then they just threw him in at the end or something.
I'm guessing that's exactly what happened.
I guess. But this raises a huge question, of course.
Yeah, it doesn't even it gives us the opposite of context. If this were just what it was, and there was no guy at the end, it's like, okay, it's just a cast full of ghosts, who cares? What is this other guy? He just says, yeah, my grandfather, something.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He starts explaining it, and then the episode fades out.
Yeah.
It's so fucking annoying.
And, so this guy is a police officer, right?
Right.
Why the heck is this area not, like, sealed off? Or aren't at least warnings? Because he's literally like, no one ever escapes the ghosts. Like, has this happened before? Why is no one warned about this?
That's a good question.
Well, you make the episode like 5 minutes longer and reveal that this guy is another ghost.
That would honestly be more interesting.
Just at the end, flash the ghost face on his face.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
Turns to the camera and smiles, and that's it.
Yeah, very, very, very bizarre episode. It's like I love the idea of expanding on stuff from the games. We love the Mecha Sonic 2 in the comics that didn't do anything in Adventure 1. This, you'd think, would do a similar thing for Adventure 2's Ghost, but no, it actually makes them worse by making them just convoluted and bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like they throw a few things in, but they barely try in this episode.
They really do.
Yeah.
Or don't.
So
whatever.
Anyway, next episode, episode 20, Departure, Egg Fort 2, or Cruise Blues in the dub. Confined to a 7-day cruise, the gang slowly goes stir-crazy, waiting for something interesting to happen, Sonic getting the worst of it with nowhere to run. Meanwhile, Eggman builds a new mecha. This is a wacky farce episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are things that I remember very well about it.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
kind of funny sometimes.
There are some good gags in here, but
Yeah.
it's largely it's a wacky farce episode, and it's also a bottle episode because they're stuck on this cruise ship the entire time.
Right.
I don't know how the hell you
Yeah.
got Sonic to agree to this in the first place.
That's
my
what I
question.
wanted to know. Exactly.
Maybe
Like,
they lied
how
to
the
him.
fuck do we Yeah, they must have just told him like, yeah, don't worry, we're not going on a cruise ship. Or they shoved him in the trunk.
Or you know,
something.
we're just going across the water to this one island. It'll be fine.
Yeah, this one island that's a week away. We don't
Yeah.
need to tell you that part though.
Yeah, we have Eggman. He's repairing
Thank
his
God.
egg fort and breaking the fourth wall a little bit with his robots. What's funny, he's like, the egg fort is repaired. Just kidding, it's still broken. He's like, fuck it, I'll just build a new one.
Sometimes it's cheaper just to buy a new one.
Probably.
Yeah, so then we cut to the Chris Sonic gang, and yeah, we're on a cruise ship for a week-long voyage to quote-unquote the Northern Islands.
And
They
Sonic
take a
is
lot of
actually-
vacations in this show, it feels like.
And Sonic has gone like actually insane.
Yes, Sonic is not having this.
No,
Dude
he
hates-
is like losing it.
Dude hates confined spaces and water, and this combines both.
It does.
And I am going to give a shout out to both Junichi Kanemaru and Jason Griffith for the agonizing vocal performances.
I can imagine. I kind of wish I could have I listened to at least part of the dub for this one.
And shout outs to the artists as well, pushing his like crazy
Oh, yeah.
pained expressions.
Oh yeah.
There's some good looks in this episode.
So yes, everyone is bored except Chuck, who copes by getting drunk.
I knew it.
I mean, what else are you gonna do on a cruise ship?
Apparently that is the issue, because they're all just alone here. They don't have video games, they don't have TV.
Yeah, are they the only ones on this entire cruise ship? Also,
I mean, I assume it's like Dad's private yacht, so yes.
yeah. That's all. That's fucking Jesus.
Yeah, and yeah, Sonic's running around trying to get anything, and then Amy breaks the fourth wall. Actually, not only does she get Sonic to state that he is indeed 15, she's
true,
also
he
like,
does.
"You're hurting the show, man. You gotta act like the hero."
God.
And it's funny because this is honestly probably my favorite joke of the whole episode. Is she gives him this like weird motivational speech, and he stands up, he confidently strides down the hallway, and then he just collapses into a fetal position 20 feet away.
Yep. Yeah.
This is a Sonic Boom episode. He's just neurotic.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I mean, it would. See, I would like the gag more if it was like during a moment when Sonic actually needed encouragement, but with
Sure, this
no
is, like,
explanation.
This is just like
Yeah, I mean, what is he supposed to be doing? I guess like this should happen during Eggman's attack.
I guess
Like-
it's just like not being a pouty child.
Yeah.
It just would have contrasted harder in a serious moment, but in a moment that's already ridiculous, I kind of just rolled my eyes, honestly.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
fair
the
enough.
problem with that is that if you did make it something like Eggman's attack, Sonic wouldn't do this because he'd be motivated
Yeah.
to go fight him because it's something to do.
Exactly.
And so everybody is miserable, and so they're like, Mr. Nelson Thorndike, Mr. Chris's dad, we need someone, we need help. You know, it's like, someone come pick up Sonic. Instead, he sends a helicopter full of old people.
Yeah, he sends a bunch of geriatrics.
And Mr. Tanaka, to, and I quote, coach them on how to relax. And this is the moment, because, you know, the helicopter drops all these old people off, and then it flies away, and Sonic breaks down. And I like both versions of this scene, because Kanemaru has this whimpering, go back! And then
Oh, yeah.
Jason Griffith screams like he's being stabbed.
Jesus.
This moment is absolutely incredible. The cherry on
man.
top is that it freeze cuts and then does that stylized thing they do at the end of episodes sometimes.
Yeah, like the
for
paint
no
over.
reason. Like it's so dramatic.
Yeah. 4Kids underacting, I don't like. I like 4Kids overacting. 4Kids One
sure,
Piece has a
yeah.
little bit of that.
Desert doo-doo.
No, yeah. Oh, I'd much rather have overacting than underacting. So
Yeah.
that sounds very fun.
And of course, all of this is for naught. The old people end up making things even worse.
Yeah, now everyone's gonna actually go insane.
Yeah, they're being bored, they're being gaslit. This old guy messes with Amy by saying that Sonic is into some other old lady.
Oh my god, that's right.
Tails goes crazy because an old lady tells him to stare at clouds.
I don't know why Tails like is
I
totally
don't
losing
know.
it from that. Like he freaks out for no reason. I
Yeah,
don't
it's like
get
she
it.
should have made him
weird.
think about like the inevitability of decay or something.
Oh my
Yeah, that would have made a
god.
lot more sense. I
Cream
like.
actually gets along just fine. She
Yeah, well, she just has a recursive conversation with this
she
old
has the
lady.
same conversation for hours.
Well, Cream is too polite to point anything out, and
Oh, so we're going
so
to assume Cream knows full well what was going on.
I interpret it that way.
I don't know. I think she'd be really good at boring conversations. I bet
think
this is
Cream
not in
was
the
just
dub.
checked out.
She mentions that she lived in Green Hill.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, that wasn't in the dub.
Interesting.
And Sonic tries to jump off the boat at least 15 times.
Yeah, they said, hey, they said that's his 15th time. That's the farthest he's made it so far.
These two sailors are just casually commenting on the maniac hedgehog on the ship. I
Yeah,
like them. I don't know. There's just something
they've gotten to the
nice
point where
about
this
two
is just like
people
this
just
is
like
just normal.
casually commenting on the nonsense of this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like they're us.
Exactly.
Yeah. We do get another cut to Eggman here, revealing his new Egg Fort 2,
Electric Boogaloo.
but he wastes time arguing about what to name each combining piece of it, because it's like a combining three-part robot.
So the first scene at the beginning, it only lasts a moment, but this one lasts surprisingly long. Like there's a whole thing. They
Yeah.
argue for a while about the names, and at first I was like, wow, this is going on for a while. But eventually I was like, this is kind of funny, and it actually makes me wonder what it would be like to see Eggman just like being their proud, self-centered stealth in a completely non-destructive setting like this. Just completely harmless Eggman. Like maybe
Sure.
maybe old Eggman in a retirement home or something.
Yeah, you can hang out with these boring old people.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
No, but yeah, Eggman in more domestic settings. Just I don't even think maybe retirement home Eggman so much as like.
Just slice of life, Eggman.
Well, I'm thinking like a benevolent like office worker Eggman. They end up. I'm skipping over one scene here, but I'll get back to it. They end up randomly generating the piece names, and they end up being named Bang, Ba-Bang, and Baba Bang, and all of them hate it.
But if nobody's happy, then everyone can agree.
Exactly.
I suppose so. Contrary to that being, Sonic decides to like try to emotionally manipulate his friends to get off the boat.
Yeah, what the fuck was...
He like...
That just appears out of nowhere.
Well, it's funny because last episode we had a ghost flirting with Amy to get him to do what he wants. Now we have Sonic actually flirting with Amy to get her to do what he wants.
Right.
I've seen this scene like mentioned before. Knowing the context of this scene is wild.
It's like joke ship teasing. Is what
Kind
it
of,
is.
yeah.
Basically, I just nothing here is logical. The episode is absolute nonsense. So like I can't take it too seriously. But like this is not a side of Sonic that has shown up in anything that I can think of really.
Not
Like
really.
he doesn't seem manipulative at all.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to remember if he's even ever this zonked out in the Sonic Boom cartoon. I don't think he is.
I don't think he ever does, but I've only seen bits of that.
Yeah.
I think this is literally... This is just Sonic at his most desperate.
This is the most zooted Sonic in all of the franchise.
Suited, Jesus.
I mean, I guess I haven't read most of Sonic the comic yet, but yeah. We've had a lot of Bokun failing to deliver messages correctly recently.
Yeah.
He shows up at the mansion to deliver one, but nobody's there, so he just starts crying, and Ella like comforts him.
And then he blows up.
Oh yeah,
Or excuse me, it sets off a bomb.
same difference.
Yeah,
Very very strange. But
This scene
yeah,
will be important later.
It will.
Listeners. Remember
it will
this
be,
scene.
actually.
You remember that moment. It'll be important fairly shortly.
We're at least getting close to our destination. Everybody is onto Sonic's scheme as they approach the ice cap, so he's hiding on top of this pole. Amy knocks him off and then sits on him.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that Amy caught on that Sonic was tricking them. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like she would fool herself into thinking that he was being genuine regardless.
She'd dilute herself. She'd
I
want to think
appreciate
so.
an Amy that can understand that Sonic can be wrong sometimes, even if this is one of the first times Sonic has ever been wrong. But yes, like I said, Sonic is actually really happy to see Eggman after all this when he attacks.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He finally got shit to do.
Well, this is something that has been shown consistently in media, which is that Sonic actually needs something to do, and often that comes from Eggman.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. As soon as Eggman shows up, Sonic's happy.
And Egg Fort 2, it is a combining mech that looks a little bit USS Enterprise.
A little bit, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it.
And then there's this joke where everyone's like, well, it's really small, I can't see it. And then Eggman's like, damn it, everybody's TVs is too small.
It was 2004. Everyone had little tiny TVs.
CRTs, maybe still.
Speaking of not enough space, I love the gag when Eggman shows up and Deco and Boko both cut in and they squash his face and he shoves him aside.
Little visual flares like that. So Sonic is, of course, very, very excited to fight and has something to do, so he jumps out because they've gotten close enough to the glaciers. But he can't run on the ice. And he's like, oh my gosh, I should have remembered the old person advice to move one step at a time.
Uh-huh.
And you think that's gonna be some kind of Aesop, that's gotta be the lesson of the episode. No, that's not what ends up beating Eggman.
Not really.
Instead, Bokun jumps on Eggman's ship, closely followed by Ella, flying the X-Tornado.
Because she can fly it now.
Your rage. Do not underestimate
she
the things
is
that
angry.
you can just suddenly do with just
Well,
rage.
to be fair, Tails does say, or either Chuck or Tails says.
Chuck says, I got bored one time and I taught her how to fly the X-Tornado.
Which, fucking, alright, why the fuck not?
This is the thesis statement of the episode, which is don't think about it, we're just gonna be silly.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess that's not inherently a bad thing.
No, I think that this... Because, this is basically the end of the episode, is
Right.
that Ella beats Eggman, and then Sonic's like, I guess I need to settle down for a while. Shut the fuck up. But, it's so ridiculous that it's hard to get mad at.
Kinda, yeah.
Now, did it need to be 22 minutes? I'm not sure. I think there's a reason that Sonic Boom episodes are 11 minutes.
Yeah, they're yeah.
That might be nice. Change of pace.
I'm gonna
Sonic Boom instead.
I'm gonna be honest. 22-minute anime in general, I almost always if they're not super in depth plot wise, I'm always thinking just cut them down to 11 minutes. Especially with fucking manga adaptations. Shonen anime fuckers. Instead of padding out your shows to be extremely slow and boring, just make shorter episodes.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with this, but yeah. So very, very silly episode.
Quite silly.
And frankly, the silliness doesn't stop there. This is episode 21, Speed Match Sonic vs. Sam, or Fast Friends in the dub. The government organizes a race between Sonic and Sam Speed with the latest in rocket car technology. But when Sonic doesn't enter the race, presidential aide Jerome Wise decides to get Dr. Eggman involved.
Once again, they try to do something without confirming Sonic will actually do it.
Oh, of course, but this is Jerome Wise, and he's been confirmed as irrational in a lot of cases. This episode is the best episode for him, in my opinion. This sets the tone for all of his future episodes, which is that he's the most pathetic man to ever live.
Nice.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though.
Yes.
At first, the one in charge is Sam, of course,
Bro
revving
pulls up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, just wake everybody up in the middle of the night with his loud fucking car.
No, a lot of
God.
people were actually already awake.
Well,
Because they were all
because
just standing,
because the
waiting.
government announced this race before they knew if it was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Why was this organized for 3 a.m.? Like, why did they think that was a good idea? And why did so many people show up for it? I mean, I guess it's exciting or whatever.
It's
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's a midnight release, you know? You gotta stand around outside GameStop.
Midnight release for the race between the fastest thing alive and a dude in a car.
Yeah, why the fuck are they? I didn't even think about that.
Well, another thing is, if it was announced, how do none of the Thorndikes know about it?
It must have been announced while they were asleep.
And that many
parents-
people saw it, but not the
To be fair,
Thorndikes?
we see pretty shortly that Chris's parents are funding it.
Even
Or-
more reason
part
that
of
it makes
it,
no
at least.
sense.
Maybe they were like, oh, we gotta keep it a secret from the house, so it'll be a cool surprise for Chris.
Ah, yes. Even Chris knows Sonic isn't going to do this.
Yeah. They're like, oh, the president will be standing at the finish line, and Sonic's like, wow, I do not give a shit.
Yeah, they already tried once to get Sonic to do something that he probably doesn't want to do. Why do they think they'll get him to do it this time?
Well,
Actually,
it's like it's...
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little surprised that Sonic turned it down. I guess he's just like, you're being super rude to everyone. I don't have to race you. That
I think
makes
that's
some
part of
sense.
it.
But often Sonic is down for a race like any time.
I think he just thinks the idea is pointless.
Sonic enjoys a challenge. I think he just thinks Sam is beneath him.
I mean, he enjoyed racing Sam before, but I guess he's had his fill already.
Well, and when he raced Sam the first time, he didn't know exactly how fast they were going to be.
True.
Whereas here, yeah, so Sam's like, well, I won't stand for you refusing my race. So he calls up Wise, and the default response is always send in the tanks.
And then the goddamn military.
But that'll be too expensive, so instead he's like, I'll just call up Dr. Eggman.
Why does he have Eggman just on the fucking phone?
Maybe they saved his caller ID from when he communicated with them before.
I kind of forgot that he'd communicated with them already.
Before Eggman picks up the line, I like this moment when Eggman is playing chess with one of his robots. And it starts off silly, and he's just like, oh, how dare you beat me? I'm your creator, I can take you apart. But then they're like, I'll promise I'll let you win next time, Doctor. And then randomly he gets like super serious. He's like, there won't be a next time. And he gets cut off by the aide calling him.
It's very old school Archie with him just throttling a robot he made to play against. And yeah, so he gets called up by Jerome, who's like, you need to help me with this. He's like, why the hell would I do that? And Wise takes off his shades to reveal his sincere eyes, as he called them. And then Eggman's like, ugh, these fucking eyes are gross. Let's get this over with. It's truly inspired. So they send Bokun, obviously, to deliver this message, but instead of an exploding TV, he brings the chess robot, which Eggman has remodeled into a plunger with lips on it. What is this thing?
So, I complained about some robots in this show not being, like, fitting with the Eggman line. But, I mean, they were unfitting in a way we've seen before in, like, other media where they're just...
This is unfitting in a very different way.
Yes, indeed.
This is a whole new kind of fucked up. I mean, it's just gross. I don't like it. It reminds me... I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the Sad AM episode with the sexually harass Antoine robot.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was also very out of place.
You should have just made something that, like, tries to kill Sonic and chases him, but he can't actually destroy, or something like that. But yes, instead we have the Kiss bot, which Sonic runs away from to join the race.
Yeah, Sonic can't get cooties.
There's been at least 3 different Sonic cartoon episodes about racing, and none of them have Metal Sonic. Anyway, Sonic races against Sam, and he's like, dude, your rocket car is basically just a rocket, And Sam is
Right.
like, no, look at my dinky little wheels. That technically means it's a car. So it really all bets are off. He's kind of just cheating at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
In fact, he's super cheating because he reveals that he built a pathway directly through the city so he doesn't have to make turns.
And it doesn't fucking matter because Sonic still ends up in front of him.
Yeah. But it's like he spent all that time talking about the thrill of the race. No, this is the thrill of massaging your own ego.
Pretty much.
And I love that Sonic's response to this is to just sit on top of the car.
He's like, well, you're basically...
If you can cheat, I can cheat too.
Yeah, exactly. Refuses to play.
Yeah, pretty much.
The thing, though, is that there is an extremely obvious trick that Sonic falls for after that.
Oh.
Which, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
What, you mean the springboard?
Sam is just like, okay, Sonic, well, why don't you just move back there?
Back up, because I can't see.
And then Sonic's like, oh,
you're not steering.
Is here okay? Like, that is so obviously the setup for a trap.
He's playing along. He knows that it doesn't matter.
If we got some confirmation, that would be fine. If Sonic just doesn't care. I just don't think that's it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I do like Eggman's reaction to all this, which is that he's just loving seeing Sonic get messed with.
Well, of course.
He sends in this sumo robot, E45.
That does, like, nothing.
Yeah, he's supposed to block Sonic, but he's dumb and just attacks himself instead.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And he, like, knocks himself into Eggman's ship and, like, knocks it over, and then the Kissbot activates on Eggman.
Like, why does this show do this?
Why is the Kissbot back? Why would it not still be chasing Sonic?
Why didn't Eggman, like, launch the Kissbot into the fucking sun?
The Kissbot should be like the immortal snail that will kill you if you touch it, but it moves really slow, so can you run away from it the whole time?
I don't know what's happening anymore, but there's still a race going on, I think, in the plot.
Probably.
Yes, the lunchbox scene happens where they're like, hey Sonic, here's some food. Oh no.
Oh no, Sam's a bastard and covered it in sand.
I mean, honestly, Sam did a favor because, like, do not eat when you are sprinting.
No, but...
I mean, yes, but if anybody can do it, it's Sonic, but...
Yeah, that'd be my thing. It's like, if anyone can pull that off, it's probably gonna be Sonic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you probably shouldn't be eating while you're,
Like, if... I'm just saying, if he had offered him a drink of water, so that it would have made a lot more sense.
Sure.
But here, have a full meal.
Well, that's the thing, because Sonic commented that he hadn't actually had anything to eat, because Sam was a fuckhead and woke them up too early.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, that's probably why they scheduled the race when they did, I bet.
I have a feeling they wanted Sam to win.
That audience is all paid actors, that's why they were there.
But that... Well, I don't think so, because, like...
No, I'm being facetious, but...
Well, yeah, because a lot of them are rooting for Sonic.
Yeah. Anywho, President Mike, here at the finish line, calls up Jerome and is like, yeah, I gotta cancel, man. I have actual work to do, which is funny because of Lauren's comment from the other week about, you know, I'll have to get a real job. But, he's like, I can't...
like, actually important defense meeting or something.
I can't do your race shit, Jerry. I got busy. And Wise takes this as a signal to replace him at the end of the race. And he's like, oh, I'll beat him in the next election.
Okay, so I guess this does add some credence to the whole, the aide is really pulling the strings. The aide really is the one in charge a lot of the time. And now that they're going to come and try to grasp all the power for themselves, Jerry is broiling right here. I'm going to look out for more sides.
The final leg of the race sees Sonic and Sam go all out head-to-head with a photo finish. Right? Right?
Sure, yeah, obviously.
No! Sonic jumped over the finish line, mugged the cameras, and then ran back to give it a photo finish just to swing his colossal dick around.
The man is the fastest thing alive.
Has been utterly fucking obliterated. Eat
that's
shit.
gonna destroy Sam's ego, hopefully. I'm not expecting it to.
It was a foregone conclusion.
I love it, to be honest. You know,
Oh, no, I
Sonic
love
being
it, but, like-
overpowered, I don't like when he's supposed to be struggling. Sonic's not supposed to be struggling here. I want to see
No.
him mess this guy up.
Yeah, I
He should have
want
punched him in the
Sonic-
face for it.
I want Sonic to, you know, kick him in the nuts, beat him in a race, and then, like, I don't know, flip him off.
So,
This is
Jerome-
a come-up episode too, because yes, things do not go well for Jerome, because not only does Sonic not shake his
Oh, yeah.
hand, although I will say it's partially Jerome's fault because he's like trying to get Sonic to shake his hand, and then there's a call, and then he answers the call, which you're in the middle of a very important moment, dude.
Mm.
Like, stupid move right there. But then turns out that they're on to him. And yeah, no, you can't just collaborate with Eggman
Yes.
and get away with it.
He is exposed. The hashtag scandal. He gets canceled
Yes.
for cavorting with Eggman to make Sonic race. And he gets fired.
Holy crap.
Sonic destroyed a career without even knowing it. Utterly
Okay,
obliterated.
The way you're saying that makes me hope that this is a persistent change of the status quo.
This is
and
why I like this episode. The downward spiral of Jerome Wise is one of my favorite things in Sonic X.
Oh boy.
I am so glad, because I was like, you know, there is a chance that this will stick, but there's also a chance it's just an ending gag, and I'm so glad that it's going to stick.
Yes, Jerome Wise is out of here, but he's gonna still be in the show, and it's hilarious. So yeah, that's this episode. Honestly, I think this show is better at being silly than it is at trying to do, like, episodic serious.
I wouldn't say it's particularly good at either, but I guess you're right.
I mean, I think about, you know, like, we're clearly having more fun talking about the wacky episodes than, like, the Ghost episode. The Ghost episode was my least favorite of today.
The Ghost episode was complete filler, though, to be fair.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but I don't... Okay, yeah, I guess when it's trying to do episodic and stuff matters, definitely. But yes, that is our episodes for today. I don't know, I had more fun than last week, I guess is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I had more fun.
And next week, we'll have Chow, we'll have a Chaos Emerald, and we'll have another meme episode.
Oh boy.
Chaos Emeralds slowly but surely are gathered. Takes them a very long time. Eventually, man, it's like it's just as long as when you're playing the games and you're just struggling doing one special stage at a time.
Oof.
Yeah, this
It's
is
game accurate.
We're on special stage 5 right now. It's always like 4 or 5 that's harder than 6 and 7.
That is so true.
But with all that said, that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Thank our viewers so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can reach us at any of the links in the link tree in the description. One day, somebody will do that, I swear. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week for another episode. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and take care.